Okay, I think we've got something here now. Um, I apologize for that. The computer, I'm really looking forward to getting rid of this computer because it just keeps crashing like this. And it drops off the internet for no reason at all. And I'm just really going crazy with it. So far, I hope we'll just chat here for a minute while people find the stream again. We're up to 14 concurrent viewers, and okay, welcome to chat. I had to end the stream and start it over again. What happens is OBS is crashing, and it shouldn't be. And the big problem is I'm trying to use a second display with this, a 4K display, which this little HP Pavilion laptop supposedly can handle, but it doesn't. It keeps crashing, it blue screens. That's why the new computer. And the new computer, I'm in the middle of transferring data to it, and then I'll set up the programs on it, and we will be on that for the Thursday night. By the way, I did the Thursday night live stream, and the turnout was really good. It was about half the turnout we have for the Saturday, but for a first time on a Thursday night, seemed pretty good. My goal has been to do a video or a live stream every day. And San Jose, California. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is working now. Okay. Let's see. You're back on the video stream. Okay. Sorry about that. Up to, well, we were 53, then 52. We lost somebody. So the point of the new computer is to replace this laptop and build a machine that's really good for editing video, that I can do it really quickly, and that will handle the 4K display properly without crashing all the time. And something that I've had trouble with this thing with it blue screening. It blue screened during the last Saturday live stream and had to completely reboot. Okay, so the latest status on the computer, when I showed the components that went into it, several loggies picked out the problem right away, and that was that I was using a new motherboard and an old processor chip, and the two were not compatible. So I called around to find, there are people in the area who make computers. We're very sparsely populated in the western slope. So, I'm getting all sorts of... You had video and sound. Well, OBS quit on me, so appreciate you guys coming back. Super Chat is open, as somebody had already noticed, and we'll get organized here. It's flusters a person when everything crashes all at once. So we'll try and keep it here. Now I point out on this on the main overhead here. Okay, here are the people. There are 6 today whose comments did not come through. They were. What happened was that they went through the Ask Dave section of my website, and they comment did not come through properly. So I got the name and the call off of all of these. If your name is on this list, if you would please resubmit your question to me, and we'll try again. Okay, and I sincerely apologize for that. Let's see, back to here. Okay. Yeah, okay, we're up to 84. That's more like it. And 9 likes. Thank you very much for that. It really helps. Let's see. So the computer, I borrowed an i3 chip of the correct generation to put in the motherboard right now on, and it's sitting right over here, sucking all the data off of the laptop onto that. I had to turn that off, or pause it rather, while doing this. And yeah. So I'll get that correct chip on order, an i7, Core i7, and then hopefully the thing will be a really, really nice, really fast, really reliable machine with everything picked out properly. It's got 1 terabyte of SSD and another 2 terabytes of storage on it, so it should be really great for video work. And not be afraid to handle 4K displays. Okay, let's see. Oh, show. Please submit, yes. Please submit your inquiries to hamradioanswers@gmail.com. That is true. I think what it is this little gaming machine with just a Core i5 in it is a gaming machine in name and exterior design only. It's got a GeForce GTX in it, which I guess is supposed to help with the graphics, but I don't know, maybe there's an issue with the graphics driver. A computer genius could probably take this thing and whip it into shape in no time. I am definitely not a computer genius. Okay, on the other thing that I've been doing is I'm taking my ground school for my sport pilot license. Augie and patron Sean McGrath is my tutor in that, and we're meeting 3 times a week. And I've got all the books, and I'm trying to study, so we'll keep that up. I apologize for not putting up a video yesterday. It just didn't happen. However, I've had a suggestion that I do a little short video on my solar system. So I'll do that tomorrow or Monday. This is a busy weekend for Mormons. It's General Conference weekend, so we'll see what we can get done. Okay, and lots of interesting comments in there. People from all over the world. And what Super Chat is, okay, if you go down to where it's got your name at the bottom of the chat stream, it says say something, and then underneath that there's a happy smiley face, so you can pick an emoji, and then next to that is a little $sign. If you click on the $sign, it allows you to make a contribution to the channel. I should be careful about using the word contribution. Provide support to the channel. It's not tax-free. I pay taxes, by the way, on all of this. I very carefully track it and pay the proper taxes for it. Let's see. Solar would be great. Okay. Just north of W5 KUB. Yeah, and I missed his show Tuesday. I said I was going to be on it, and then the time came and went, and by the time I realized I had missed that, it was 9 o'clock local time. Really dumb. Yeah, Super Chat does disappear when you pop out chat. I found that out, and apologized that. Okay, so we should probably look at some of the questions. This first one is from Jerry Quigley, K6PDE. I saw a show not long ago. You were testing a radio and used a homemade dummy load and would like to know how to build one. This is the dummy load. It's the Heathkit Cantenna. It's a paint can, and attached to the top of it here is a connection, and inside is a very large wattage 50 ohm resistor, and then it's filled with mineral oil to suck the heat away from the thing. Now, MFJ has one very similar to it. So if you go to MFJ Enterprises, you can find a dummy load just like this. I don't know if you have to source your own transformer oil or mineral oil. I just went down to the drugstore and bought little bottles of mineral oil and poured them in. That was many years ago. It can be a little bit messy. Mineral oil creeps. And so no matter how tightly you screw down the lid on that, not screw down, but push down the lid on that, it will, over a period of months, gradually leak. So you'll be needing to clean the top of that every so often. But I've had that for many years. It's my trusty dummy load. It has some weirdisms around 70 megahertz, but I've tested it it works on all the ham bands. It works properly. So there's some parasitic oscillation around 70 megahertz, but that's not a ham band, so it doesn't matter. So, is there a way to keep many 12-volt AGMs charged balanced while in use? I've had a bad battery keep the others from staying well charged. Yes, the batteries do need to be well matched, and if you have a bad battery, it will tend to absorb all the charge, so you have to check the batteries from time to time and remove the bad apples. When I was in the Air Force, we had a whole series of batteries lined up that would run, would start the diesel engines at the power plant we had there at the radar site. And one of them went bad one time. We had a heck of a time finding it. We had to test every battery and see which one was right. We found it and fixed it. What kind of resistor do you use? Wire wound is inductive, yes. So you can't use that for dummy load. Like I said, go to MFJ and look at their dummy loads. They have a whole series of them. Some are air-cooled, some are QRP. The big ones are filled with either transformer oil or the mineral oil. Mineral oil is real easy to come by. You can actually probably just go down to Home Depot and purchase the mineral oil in a gallon can. So, let's see. Tom had a super good show. Yeah, I wish I could have been there. I was stupid. Low noise in the solar, yes. Second pump has noise. Yeah, okay. All from Anguilla. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Okay, I had a Galena stone connected to long wire and grounding in parallel with a small speaker. Yes, that does work. Okay. That was from John. Okay, this next one is from KE5ICT and email GDBud. I sent you a package mailed to your P.O. box today. It should get there Thursday next week. It's a workstation electrostatic discharge mat with wrist strap and testing device. Once you install that, there won't be any reason to wrap a bare wire around yourself. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. I have used that little trick with the wire, ground wire, wrapped around my wrist or something for years when dealing with electrostatic sensitive. Somebody pointed out properly that there should be a high wattage resistor in there. The high wattage resistor will allow small static charges to creep away. But if you accidentally touch something, won't cause you to receive a shock because you've got one arm connected to ground. So I was thinking of just putting a 1 mega ohm resistor in series with it, but the wrist straps have got all that stuff built in. That's something I've never had, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. This is from John Stevens. Power supply question. Put a SLA in parallel with power supply, then hook up your radio. SLA. I don't know what an SLA is. Using OnStar with a wireless signal booster to listen to the stream. That's cool. What do you recommend for a mobile? Trucks of space isn't an issue. I'm currently looking at the Anytone D578 UV3 Pro. There might even be a plus sign in there. For use in the mobile. It's a little expensive. It's a $400 radio. But then again, the good Japanese radios are expensive too. So that is the next reference station component that we are going to pick, is the standard mobile. And then we've got to pick an antenna for it and all of those things like that. So we'll be doing a lot more on that. This is from John Stevens. Doesn't give his call sign. I'm looking for advice in accomplishing a shack mod. I use the following hardware: Yaesu FT857D. Okay, it's a very little compact HF radio. an HF dipole, VHF UHF J pole, and an antenna tuner unit. Now I want to utilize a panadapter, either the SDR Play RSP1A or RSPDX. Either one works fine. I understand the necessity for a transmit receive switch, such as the MFJ 1708B-SDR. Yes, you will want that to isolate. The confusing issue for me is this. Now I'm trying to remember if that radio has one or two antenna ports. Let me show you on the overhead how I would do that. Again, these are the ones where you need to resubmit the question. There were 6 this week. Yeah, computers. Don't we love them? I'll tell you, though, the computers sure make this quarantine more palatable. You've got your transceiver right here. Okay. And you would come out here with your antenna to the MFJ unit, which would then feed off to the SDR. Okay. And you also have to take up here the transmit lead. Whenever a transceiver goes into transmit, there's a little access on the back called TX or something like that that will short to ground whenever this goes into transmit. That tells this SDR, wow, I've got that wrong. Apologies. That goes into here, transmit. Then this goes out to the switch where you've got 2 antennas. Okay. So you put the MFJ, whatever it is, the switch in here. So transceiver, your transmit tells it to do the switching, your SDR off over there, the switch over here for which antenna you're going to use. And that's the order you need to do it in. Okay, hope that helped. There we go. And I think that answers that question. Okay, the next one is from Paul Kraska, KC2WAP. Watched your live stream last night. That would have been Thursday night. By the way, the Thursday night live stream worked really well. Thursday at 7 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time. So that'd be 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I watched your live stream. My issue was to find an Elmer in South Florida. He has his general and is studying for extra. He has a TS-590, nice radio, with an Astron VS35M. It's a variable power supply. Make sure you've got that thing on 13.8. Power supply from DX Engineering. By the way, I have been asked by another number of people why they can't just use a computer power supply, which put out a huge amount of current at 12 volts. The answer is it's at 12 volts. I mean, it really is 12 volts. And the radios like to see about 13.8. For some of the modern radios that are not designed as mobiles, 12 volts is actually too low. If you go 13.8 volts plus or minus 10%, that doesn't get all the way down to 12. A mobile radio might work on it. I can't say anything for the filtering on the power supply. I don't know how the computer power supplies are. Anyway, this guy lives in an HOA and purchased a Chameleon 2 MPass antenna. Trying to make a simple 10 meter and 6 meter antenna with no success to get on the air. The reason you're having no success with their antennas is nobody's on 10 meters or 6 meters, except once in a while. You might try on 6 meters FT8. There's sometimes little FT8 up there. You need the reference antenna. The reference antenna is the MFJ 2010, which is a 2-band off-center fed dipole, 40 and 20. It also gives you 6 and 10, but join the Marco Island Club. Most of them are snowbirds without much assistance. How to proceed to get on the air. Okay, well, you've got good radios. You want to try 40 and 20 meters. 20 meters in the day, 40 meters into the evening, and at night, if there's a way to get on 80 meters, you'd have that all night. So talk to the people there. It looks like you've got the equipment. I don't know anything about the MPass antenna. Chameleon was going to give me one to test and then didn't. So I can't say anything about it. This is from Dwight N7KBC. Love your channel. Want to let you know that the audio level on your live streams is too low. Okay. I went in and tried to raise the audio level on this particular thing, and you might want to you might want to tell me how the sound is. I know it's down a little bit. Oh wow, I'm way behind in the comments here. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, and as I said, Super Chat is open. This is, let's see, Dwight. He says the audio gets better on the overhead camera. I have tried to, I went 3 dB up today on this. The problem is there's about 3 different places in Windows that you can set audio levels. And this thing is turned up pretty much all the way. And it's in the yellow, but not in the red on OBS. Okay. This is from Gordon Sage, N8YOH. Dave, you need help with this project. Oh, this is the computer. Yeah. So many people gave me so many good ideas on that computer. I just really assistant. You guys are great. Agree audio is a touch low. It needs plus 15%. I'll try moving the mic a little bit closer, like right here. The mic is right there. This is from Galliano III, Robert Bobby. And he says, Dave, I have learned a tremendous amount from your channel and videos. I'm taking my tech in general 2 weeks from today. Oh, I hope you can get a good VE session going. My question would be, what good antenna multiband for a beginner? Well, the reference antenna is the MFJ 2010. Also good starter radio, the IC7300, and any other tools that may come in handy in the shack. IC computers, all kinds of things. We haven't really talked about tools. We will talk about a few things that you can get. People have asked about those wire strippers that I used when I was doing the Anderson power pole connectors. And I put up, if you go to my website at dcasler.com, dcasler.com, the very first post is got a little Amazon ad for that particular wire cutter. If you order it through that ad, I get a little bit of support for the channel, not very much, and it doesn't increase your price any. So you can check that out if you want that. I never had one. I never even thought of one until I was at work one day, and a friend of mine was doing some soldering for something, and I asked him about his wire stripper, and I said, I've got to have one of those. And lo and behold, there it was, and I went and got it. I've had this one for many years, and it's, in my humble opinion, I wonder how I ever lived without it. This is from Chuck N3PSU, and he's got a whole bunch of things to check on the computer, and like I said, I really appreciate that. The computer is working right now, and I will be, thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, too. John Height K3SGB. After watching your most recent YouTube video, this is the 6700K CPU was the wrong one. I need to get the 9700K, and I will get that on order, I think, today. This is from Ignacio Nicholas Bieber, Lima Uniform 5, Juliet India Bravo. He wants to start activating summits on the air when the coronavirus stay-home ends. But meanwhile, he's working in his portable antenna configs. He'd like the buddy pole because it looks small, it's not heavy, and it is multi-band. I watched 3 videos on the buddy pole. One of the problem is that he has in Argentina is there's a 35% import tax. Oh, and Tom, thank you very much. Thank you. Says, would a buddy pole be a good choice? Yes, it would, but it's awfully expensive. SOTA type things are very popular. And there are a lot of different antennas that people use. I would look at some of the SOTA websites and see what antennas people use up there, because $1,300 for SOTA antenna sounds a little steep to me, but the buddy pole antennas are nice antennas for portable work and will work very nicely from a mountaintop. Shack speaker for the FT991, it has a speaker built in. You can buy MFJ speakers, and some of them have some tone controls and things like that on it. 2-wire strippers. They were $30 each. Yeah, mine was, I think, $27 when I bought it. It's about double that now. Who was your Coax guy again? Go to Coax USA, COAXUSA.com. That will take you to MPD Digital. And he's a guy I've interviewed a couple times on this channel, like 2 years ago, something like that. He knows everything there is to know about coax. You can get bulk coax from him, or you can get coax with connectors. And he has all the fancy machines that put on these connectors automatically. This is from John. Mike 0 Echo Oscar Uniform from the UK. Very curious. I have reconnected my radio setup, but some strange reason seem to have voltage feels like RF on the earth when not attached to anything else. And when attached, I can feel it through everything connected. How do I get rid of this? You need to make sure that you've got a good grounding, or as the Brits would say, a good earthing connection. You need to get an earth rod that is specific for your station right outside the window where you've got your shack, and run a braid or something from that up into the shack to the radio. I have a video on grounding. I think it's Ask Dave number 8, which will show you all the parts and pieces, and we will be doing another grounding video as part of the reference station series when that gets back on track here. That's your problem. You've got RF in the shack, and yeah, it'll bite you. It's not good for the equipment either. So that that ground, you run your cable from your antenna to the ground rod where you have mounted one of the Alpha Delta. There's a couple other manufacturers of the little lightning surge arresters, and then you run it from there up into the shack. And that will bleed off most of the static type stuff that you get. And nearby strikes, it will bleed off the excess voltage that you get, and also helps make your antennas ever so much quieter. This is Wayne McLeod, Victor Alpha 3 Whiskey Mike Charlie from Canada, who is offering computer help. Thank you guys so much for your help. You guys nailed it as to what was wrong with the computer. This is, and from William L. Hatt, similarly, some suggestions for the computer. Daniel Witz, Whiskey Sierra 3 Mike. I think that's it. Yeah, Whiskey Sierra 3 Mike. Hope you're all doing well in the crisis. He and his wife are okay. Living a more or less isolated lifestyle. Okay, has amateur radio and does like to listen. So that's good. So he's just saying his situation is pretty good. Hello, Steve. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. How high should a dipole be above a car? I have to run over a driveway. Well, big enough, high enough for the car to get under. Ideally, a dipole is a half wavelength in the air. That's almost impossible to accomplish with 40 and 80 meter dipoles. So just get it up as high as you can. And get it up above a truck coming into your driveway. A delivery truck, a repairman's truck, and so on. So try and get it 20 feet in the air if you can, which I think just about anything can go under that. Grounding and Bonding for Amateur Radio by Ward Silver. Yes, I've read that book too. It's a little different from most of Ward's books because he does a lot of quoting of regulations. And he doesn't really talk about the difference between amateur practice and what I might call utility best practice. If you follow the utility best practice, that's always good. And it's better than I've ever done. So, it was as the result of reading that book that I bonded my station ground to the utility ground. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to introduce all kinds of noise. No, he didn't. He worked really well. This is from John Pinker, N1PKL, in Plymouth, New Hampshire. He lost his Elmer of 20 years. Not that he's a silent key, but he moved to Florida, leaving me in New Hampshire. He's been away from the hobby now for several years. And with being inside, the social media just doesn't do. Placed an order for the general thumb drive and have the newest ARRL book, so think I'm ready to roll. Good, good. Also study CW on my own and with the club, the Long Island CW Club, and you can look that up. They have online classes for CW. They're doing some great work there. Where could I get the rubber stamp like I see me use from time to time? If you go on my website, dcasler.com, and you search for, just put stamp up in the search field, and it should bring up the post that has a great big image of the stamp that somebody put together for me. You'll need to take that JPEG down to a print shop of some kind. Even Office Depot can do this, and they can make that rubber stamp for you. I had mine made at a local rubber stamp place when I lived in Boulder. Okay. So this next one, from Jim KD0PJG. KD0, Papa Juliet Golf. Do you have a page that covers a reference station? No, I do not, but I should. Because I have designated several devices as being part of the reference station, so I will try to get those up onto a page and say, reference, HF radio, ICOM 7300, here's a link, that kind of thing. Reference antenna, MFJ 2010, reference coax, 100 feet of RG8X with connectors, reference lightning protectors, all that sort of stuff. And we've got a reference ground power supply too that's got enough excess capacity that we can also include a VHF FM radio in the shack too. Yeah, it's a good point. I need to do that. Thank you for the reminder. And then I can refer people to it. It'll be, I'll tell you what I'll make it, dcasler.com/reference. Or Or maybe I should make a reference station. Just reference. One word is fine. So I'll put that up if I remember today. Why don't I'm just going to leave this out at an angle here. I give all these to my assistant, who is working remotely, by the way, so that she can put these up with the time on the under the video where it's going to be listed on YouTube. Okay, this is from KK4HTL. And he says, I have a long run of coax from my shack to an antenna. I need to replace the PL259 at the antenna, and will do so soon. Anyway, after I replace the PL259, is there a way to check continuity? Yes. The other end is over 75 feet away in the shack, and it would be a major undertaking to bring that end next to the other for a side-by-side check. Thanks for all the info over the years. Regards in 73. Okay, here's how you do it. Disconnect the antenna and the coax from the antenna. Go into the house and make sure with an ohm meter that the center conductor and the shield are not shorted. Okay? Make sure they're not shorted. Then go back out to the connector up by the antenna and take clip lead and short the two ends. Short the shield to the center conductor. Go back down to your station and check to make sure that they are shorted. Now, you'll probably get 1 or 2 or 3 even ohms of resistance. That's okay. But that's an easy way to tell you, first, that the coax is not shorted, and second, that it does have continuity all the way around. Okay, so that's probably the easiest way to do that. Another thing that I have done is to take my antenna, the dummy load, and just take it out and connect it at the antenna. Screw the cable in right there to the dummy load and go back in the shack, and you should get 1-to-1 SWR, because you're going to that. That's a more sophisticated check. So try that too. Try that too. Whoops, somebody up here. Whoops. Occasionally, the YouTube takes a perfectly innocent chat and holds it back. I don't know why they do that. Just making sure there aren't any more in that situation. Nigel Lawrence, thank you very much for your support. Steve Wystretch, thank you very much. Oh yes, the like. I've got 256 likes. And J72 IMS, Ishmael Samuel says he's got a new antenna. I think you go look that up on his website. And somebody was asking for that. Over-the-road long-haul trucker, max legal height for a truck is 13 foot 6 inches. If the antenna is at or above 15 feet, anything should be able to drive under it. Good. Okay. Very good. Need an Elmer in Illinois. 18-wheeler would not be able to go down the alley. But you know what they do? They take trash trucks down alleys. Somebody comes through in their RV. I mean, there's all kinds of things. We had a dump truck come through here in our driveway to dump more gravel. And he lifted up his truck to start pouring the gravel as he drove out the thing. And that thing took out trees on either side. That's just one of those cases you wouldn't normally think of, but a dump truck with the bed raised way up can get pretty high. So, but it's good to know that 15 feet would be the legal distance, but I'd try and get up a little higher than that. Drop by Ham Radio Crash Course Discord. Let's see, saw some. Okay. Was driving a heavy-duty wrecker. I've pulled down cable TV lines and alleys while towing garbage trucks. Yes. First HF goals, at least 40 meters, would like 20 as well. Anything else someone could recommend? MFJ 2010. Now, I bought that Alpha Delta DXEE antenna, which doesn't cover very much of 40 meters. I have promised that I am going to go out there and get that antenna tuned in the general portion of the band and give you some actual statistics on it. I haven't done that yet. That's something I can do. We're having we're getting snow one day and spring the next right now, so I'll try and get out there and do that. You know, one of the problems that I have found being quarantined in here with my wife, one, going stir crazy. Okay, the other is that my self-discipline is failing me, and I'm not doing the routine. You know, I haven't been on the treadmill since this whole thing started. I mean, little things like that. And I think I'm not alone in that problem with such a disruption. But if I could get my routine down a little bit, I think I'd feel better, and so on. Would it be okay to use 2-inch diameter copper pipe for J-pole? That is overkill. But yes. Want to embed stepper motors inside it. Why? Properly cut J-pole would be perfectly good on 2 meters. But yeah, I mean, it would work. Let's see. It's putting up a dipole center fed. Feed line is 50 feet of coax wrapped around the corner of the house. Does it need to be straight to the center conductor? Ideally, the coax will run along the ground, or in a trench or in a pipe or whatever, till right below the point where it goes straight up to the antenna, ideally. If that doesn't work, you can draw it away from the antenna at a 90-degree angle for 20 feet or so. That will work. And when push comes to shove, anything that works will work. So give it a try. I'm on my treadmill now as I listen to you. My radio video is very good for you. I've made over 100 contacts in the last week and 20 using the DXCE in my new 7300. Good man. Treadmill. What is this treadmill of which you speak? Well, I got off of the treadmill when I retired. Well, actually, yeah, I'm retired. I've been retired since 2013, so for a while here. This is my job right now. YouTube. Bringing videos to you. That's my job. I have a 1943 Collins TCS7 set transmitter and receiver. Do you know of a website that I could get a circuit from? Go to electricradio.com. Or, no, it's ERMAG, ERMAG.com, ERMAG. Electric Radio is a magazine devoted to boat anchors, tube-type radios, how they're restored, etc. And in his magazine and on his website, there's all sorts of links. The manual for your radio is available. Someone has it, and it's on the internet. So you can search by type, so on and so forth. Okay. Yeah, I don't have beer on my live stream. I don't drink beer, so I don't drink, period. There's Josh. Yes. If Josh is listening, hello, Josh. Nice to see you. I haven't talked to you in ages. Okay. Let's see. Great job. Tuned in from Anguilla Island. Doing a good job. All right. Let's go to some more questions. This one is from Charles Toe, KN4VGY. Greetings, Dave. This is Charlie. Yeah. It's been enjoyable to watch your YouTube lockdown clips. Good job helping pass the time. My Ask Dave question is, I finally studied enough with your amateur extra thumb drive to feel confident in passing the test. All VE exams are canceled for the foreseeable future. What avenues are there for live streaming exams? That is a serious question, and the league is grappling with that question, what to do. It depends on your state guidelines. For example, if your VE team can rent a very large room, like a gymnasium, they can set up 3 separate tables for each of the 3 VEs and put a table way out 20 feet away for an applicant to sit at. And then everybody wears the masks and stuff like that. They're maintaining social distancing. Okay, then there's no reason you couldn't do a VE session that way. And if you had 5 applicants, put 5 tables 20 feet apart, and occasionally a VE has to sort of wander around the edge of the room just to make sure everything is copacetic. And then the VEs can do their thing and maintain proper social distancing. And from there, the ARRL is still processing submissions, and they will send it to the FCC, which goes electronically, and then the FCC electronically issues the licenses. So suggest that to a VE. Schuyler, N4BRB, thank you. And SS Laplace transform. Oh, yes, the Laplace transform. A lot of people, Laplace is how you turn time domain into frequency domain. A lot of people don't realize this. But when you take a time division waveform and do a Laplace transform, you get that spectrum, but also you get a phase spectrum too. And if you take the phase information and lose it, to the human ear, it sounds about the same. About the same when you lose the phase, because the inner ear mostly is a frequency sensing device, not a phase sensing device. But some of the old things, like the old Collins mechanical filters, are terrible with phase distortion. If you are an audiophile or musician, you'll definitely hear the difference with the phases gone. Now, this is one thing why single sideband has so much trouble sounding like AM. AM preserves the phase information because it has a reference carrier. You take that reference carrier away and you reinsert a reference carrier in the radio, in the receiver. That's called the beat frequency oscillator. You reintroduce that and you create new phase information. Now, the human ear goes, something's wrong. I can't tell what, but I can understand it perfectly. But you've lost the phase information in single sideband. That's why single sideband can never sound as good as AM, because the phase information is gone. Anyway, and the side. Lots of places you can't have multiple people meet up. Yeah, a lot of places you can't do that. 10-person limit in Kansas, that would work. If you can get like the school to loan you the gym or something like that. Lots of people, yeah. The problem with testing is if you do it online, you've got a camera view, but you don't know what's happening outside the camera view. And the Alaska VEC has kind of solved that problem. They do remote tests because Alaska is very lightly populated and people live in very remote areas. We can still test the Rio Grande Valley with 3 VEs and less than 7 testers using a classroom at the fire department. That's good. Follow all the usual suggestions. When you're handling paperwork from examinees, wear gloves, okay? Do all your corrections. You wear those thin medical gloves. And then very carefully wash your hands after you've sealed everything up and sent it off. And don't touch your face, all that sort of thing, please. We don't want anybody catching coronavirus. John Casey 5LAA. Oh, somebody sent me an email. He did not speak English as a first language. This was from somebody in Eastern Europe, excoriating me for the way I put connectors on. And he had photographs and everything like that. I think he was trying to be helpful, However, in trying to use colloquial English, he was using profanity. And I don't really need to be sworn at, you know. But he wanted me to use a very different type of connector for the PL259. Well, he didn't want me to use PL259s at all. He wanted me to use N connectors. But he had a completely different type. Well, we don't use those in the U.S. Those ones that I did for the LMR400 are made specifically for that particular coax. They're really nice connectors. Now, what this guy says is he didn't see how the center conductor was crimped on the connector pin. Is it just loose? No. Let me show you. We'll go to the main overhead. Okay, and I know everybody says the audio is better this way anyway. The way the connector is made, it has a little hole in the middle, and then it has, no, it's too much, little teeth like this all the way around. So when you plug the cable in like this, the center conductor goes through and is grabbed by those little teeth. Okay, so that's what gives you the connection for the center conductor. And it works very well. So let's go back here. Okay, so that's how that works. Those are really cool connectors. And I was telling the audience on Thursday night, the people at Time Wave sent me that stuff in October, and I didn't get around to it till March, end of March. And they sent me an email and said, "Oh man, do you need more stuff?" I said, "Talk about patience." It was nearly 6 months before I got to them, and I feel really bad about that because they just sent me some stuff to show me their new connectors and so on. And so I'm going to go back to them and I'm going to say, yeah, send some LMR240 stuff and we'll take a look at it, see what we can do. Okay, this is from Danny KG6TII. We might go a couple minutes over. There's a lot of talk about vertical type antennas and a little about long wire antennas. Okay, a long wire antenna is just literally that, a long wire, usually significantly longer than a full wavelength at the frequency being used. Okay, now that's not always true. Nearly every tuner has a connection for a long wire. The problem is, a long wire antenna is an antenna from the very start. And if you've got a tuner in your shack with a long wire antenna on it, the instant that thing leaves the antenna tuner, it's an antenna. So you've got an antenna in your shack. And you can and will have problems with RF in the shack. But the nice thing about a long wire, you can stretch it up wherever you can stretch it. You can have corners go around, corners go up, go down, whatever. There are some tuners. I think Yaesu makes a couple. I think Icon makes a couple that are long wire tuners that are remote. So you can put the tuner outside, run coax to it, ground the tuner, and then have your long wire. And that actually is a well-established tradition that can be done there too. Somebody swore. Well, he did. I think he was just trying to use colloquial English. And you don't know when you're not real good in another language what is going to be offensive or not. It was, yeah, okay. Okay, SSB lower bandwidth. Yes and no. By the way, here's something that's interesting if you're curious. AM historically has had 5 kilohertz bandwidth. Okay, and that's all it's allowed. They're in 10 kilohertz slots. In Europe, they're only 4.5 kilohertz bandwidth, and the slots are 9 megahertz apart because you're transmitting both sidebands and the carrier. Okay. When Bell Telephones was looking at how to transmit multiple calls and multiplex them over a radio, they did a system with a pilot carrier, and then each of the calls spaced, and they did a single sideband, just a single pilot for the whole thing, single pilot carrier, and 12 voices, what they call a group, 12 voices, single sideband, upper sideband, stacked 3 kilohertz apart. There's a little bit of a guard frequency in there, but 3 kilohertz apart. That is where the 3 kilohertz comes from in amateur practice. Because when single sideband was first deployed, and this is a long time ago, way before I was born, I think in the 30s. But when they started putting these things together so they could build their microwave towers, that's where the 3 kilohertz came in. In telephone practice, a local call, 4 kilohertz wide, toll calls are what they call toll quality, is 3 kilohertz wide. And that's why we use 3 kilohertz. There's no other reason. There's no reason we can't cut off at 3.5 or 2.9 or something like that. But that's where that comes from. History's a fun thing. Okay, we are over time. I've got several questions left. We'll look at these on Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So 6, 7, 8, 9 for coast to coast. I know that's a problem for people in Europe because it puts it at 0100 UTC, which is a little bit late, early in the morning. Okay, so thank you all very much. Tell us more about the random wire antenna. Oh, they work. They work really well. Those were the earliest kinds of antennas. Guest licenses work if you come to visit. Go to IARU, India Alpha Romeo Uniform.org, Oscar Romeo Golf. IARU.org is the International Amateur Radio Union, and it will tell you everything you know about going abroad. We're going to take general same day after you pass tech. Yes, you can. You have to pass the tech. And if you want, you can take your extra if you pass the general. Made my, let's see, try extra. EE analog, just now getting into ham. Know the tech stuff, but not many of the regulations. Just read the book, look at the videos. My videos are at ke0og.net/training. Didn't know I was going to be doing general videos when I started that. Let's see. Okay, great. One last chance here for the super chat. And I want to say 73 to everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope you really enjoy. If you want to see what a Mormon conference is like, go to churchofjesuschrist.org, all one word, and watch. It doesn't hurt to watch. An IC 7300 is a $1,000 radio, still expensive. Might make a video about used starter radios, FT991. Yeah, I don't trust used equipment unless you know the guy, and best use it in your own shack for a while till you're really used to it before you decide to buy it. You can skip exams. No, you can't skip exams. You've got to do tech, general, and extra, all three. Okay, 73 to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, keep that attitude up and do something worthwhile with your time. Just a little bit. You know, you got lots of time to be lazy, so be lazy, but do something worthwhile. Try to keep your routine up and so on. Get on the air, and I'll see if I can't get on the air more myself. Maybe I can talk to some of you on the air. And until next time, 73.